Hi, everyone. We have author Kim Lee here, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. I am Kim Lee or Kim C. Lee, and I am a children's book author from Maryland. I kind of fell into writing. I won't say accidentally, but it's kind of been a path, or the universe has been pushing me this way. By day, I am a technology professional. I live in a very creative space, I would say, even though some of it can be a little bit more rigid. Creativity is my thing. I have a son who is very inspiring, and I guess we may talk about that later.
Right. And what inspired you to start writing?
So I was inspired to write this book by my son. I've always loved reading. Writing for me, the love of that came a little bit later in high school, writing papers. I know a lot of people talk about writing poetry or, I don't know, writing fantasy or something like that. But for me, I wrote mostly like technical papers and stuff, and I really love to do that, correcting people's grammar and things like that. So I always loved to do that. But when my son came along, my love of reading and writing kind of transcended that. And I wanted to first create a library for him. That was very, very important. And as we started the process to create this library, there were books out there with kids that looked like him, but it wasn't plentiful, and I wanted more books representative not only of someone who looked like him, but real life scenarios. So not necessarily people who were taking fantasy trips, I don't know, to some unknown place through a portal, but something simple like going to visit grandma, something simple like going to bed at night, and the struggles with doing that and how you interact with your parents. I really want to focus on those sort of things. So my first book, The Night Owl, was really a love gift to him. So he would have something that says, my mommy made this for me. This is like our book. So he's still inspiring to me. I still want to create books that for him and other children that look like him, to make sure they understand that, their real life experience are recognized, they're important, and they're okay. And I won't say normal, because I think normal downplays their existence, but they're accepted. This is not something that's strange when you're growing up, your situation, no matter what it may be. So that's what's inspiring my son.
Okay. And are you self-published?
I am. I'm an indie author. I'm self-published. The journey for that has been very interesting. Not in a bad way, but I'm learning along the way. I am someone who does a lot of the work myself. I know some indie authors have other people that help them. I do have help. I'm not going to disqualify that, but I did have someone, a very good friend of mine, Linda Mallory. She now has her own publishing company, and she helped me get my first book out. But like my own cover, I created that. I also do the layouts for my book. I know some people reach out for that. I did get help like getting my files uploaded and so forth, but a lot of the promotion, I know indie authors do a lot of that themselves. Yeah. So I definitely fall into that category, self-published indie author.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And how many published books do you have?
So I'll say 3, because I also have a coloring book. And so my first book was The Night Owl. And then my second book was this one, Meet Frankie Jordan. And this book is about a little girl who loves art. And, when kids are little and we as adults think about what we want our children to grow up to be, a lot of the time we focus on them having this career or some sort of job or position that is normal, right? But this little girl loves art. And even though, typically this isn't the most lucrative business at times, I mean, you can make a good living, but it's harder. But it focuses on a little girl who loves art. She sticks to this art, this love of art, and she pushes through. And no matter there's little kids or anyone else telling her, come do normal things, she sticks to what she wants to do and she weathers it out. And then she eventually finds, a group of people who have hobbies and interests that are just as unique as her. In a sense, she finds her tribe, right? And this book was inspired by my niece, because I think this is her story. I watched her grow up. I watched her love of art. And now she's in college. She's going to a great art college, and she's pursuing a major that I do believe she will do very well in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And how long did it take you to finish writing this book?
Oh, so the first round, it took me, I wrote this book in the original book I wrote in a day. And I was in a workshop and someone read a quote, and it was very, very inspiring. It was, I think the quote was, "Everyone has a story," or something. It was very simple, but it was very, for some reason, it was very inspiring. And I literally wrote the book in a day, and I focused more on, just being who you are, and being okay with who you are. But I wrote it from an adult's perspective. So I wrote it, I sat with it, and I said, something's not right. This doesn't feel right for a children's book. So I talked to family, I talked to friends, and they thought it was great, but it sounded like a parent telling a child, like, "You're okay," that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I ended up rewriting it from a child's perspective, but like a child talking to a friend. So I wrote it in a day, then it took me like 4 weeks to rewrite it. Just because I wanted to get the perspective right so it would resonate with children better. And that process, I think that's the first time. I'm not that deep in the game, the writing game, but that was kind of perplexing to me, because you want to get the right words, you want to say the right things, you want to make sure it resonates. So yeah, it took me, I guess then it takes me 4 weeks in a day.
Okay. And tell us where we can purchase your books.
So it was published on Tuesday, January 12th. I think that was the 12th. And you can now find my book. You can order it from my website, which is kimcleewrites.com. However, for those of you or those who like Amazon or Barnes and Noble, those sort of retailers, it is there as well. You can order online. It is also can be found at Bookshop for those people who like to support local bookstores. The proceeds from that, I think a percentage of it goes to local bookstores, and also Books A Million.
Okay. And what do you hope the little readers take away from reading your books?
I just hope that they embrace themselves and they find that, if there's something different that they like, that it's okay. Like, be yourself, get comfortable in your skin. I mean, if you think about it, when you were younger and the growing pains that you go through and trying to be comfortable with yourself, if I look back, I wish that someone had sat me down and said, "Hey, it's okay to be you, you're different, but you live and you learn. And these are things that you can pass down to kids that come after you, and present it in a more comforting way." So, my parents may have said those things to me or perceived to say it in a way that they thought was comforting, but to hear it in a different way, or to see someone who looks like you in a book who's experiencing the same thing, makes it more relatable and real. I guess it's kind of cliche, representation matters, but it definitely does. And to have someone who looks like you say those things specifically matters.
Yes, absolutely. And are you working on a third book?
Yes, actually, I am working on a third and a fourth book. So I keep a Post-it note of ideas, and I think I'm 8 ideas list on the list. But the next project, I think, is going to be a collaborative effort with one of my friends. I don't want to reveal too much about it, but I have that coming down the pike. And then I'm also working on another book just by myself. And that one, I'm going to bring back the character in my first book, the Night Owl. He'll actually get a name this time. And then I'm going to incorporate some other characters. And that book will be more STEM focused.
Okay. And where can we find you on social media?
So on Instagram, you can find me at Kim C. Lee Writes. And on Facebook, you can find me at the Kim C. Lee Writes. So make sure to put that "the" in front of it. And then I'm in the process of starting a YouTube channel. And I think that just displays as Kim C. Lee.
Okay. No Clubhouse yet?
Yes, I am on Clubhouse.
Uh-oh. We can't forget about the Clubhouse.
I am on Clubhouse. So I'm on Clubhouse as Kim C. Lee Writes as well.
Okay.
And then I guess the other place you can find me, I'm actually, I'm finding that collaborating with other authors is a great way to feed your inspiration and your creativity. So I've actually teamed up with 2 other women, And we've created a group called the Storied Trio. So the purpose of that will just be talking about our adventures in indie publishing. So all the kind of things we go through. The idea is to help other people along and let them know what we're doing from a realistic standpoint. Of course, we're kind of goofy, so you'll hopefully get some laughs along the way as well too.
Okay. And how do you think being a writer has helped you as a person?
I think it helps you to consider different perspectives, right? So when you're writing, or let me step back. On a day-to-day basis, you just perceive and you talk from your own point of view. But when you write, you have to stop and consider, how would this person really speak to this other character? How would they really feel in this scenario? What are the word choices they would really make? So it opens up your perspective. I think when I became a mother, that helped too, but this even expands it even further.
Okay. Well, Ms. Kim Lee, thank you for joining me. I wish you much continued success, and I look forward to networking with you in the future. All right, everyone, that was author Kim Lee telling us about her books. Make sure you go out and purchase a copy, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos below.